Welcome to the Dallas Duo Podcast,
your weekly wellness coffee date.
We're friends in Dallas, always looking for the best ways to optimize our health
and have fun along the way. Welcome back to the Dallas Duo Podcast, where we dive into women's wellness and the inspiring stories behind the brands we love. Today's episode is extra special. Our guest isn't just a creative powerhouse, she's also a dear personal friend. Steph Weibring, founder of Joy Creative Shop, has been in my life for years, and watching her build this beautiful, meaningful brand has been such a joy in itself. Steph is a wife, mom of 3, and one of the most compassionate, creative people I know. She's also been an encouraging presence as I've built my own brand over the years. She's designed branding and logos for myself and Whitney, and is the reason I took the plunge and started my blog back in 2012.
Steph is the creative force behind a Dallas-based paper goods brand that's redefining how we connect with products that are as intentional as they are joyful. If you had seen my original logo and branding of Witness Nutrition before Steph came along,
I remember it had a tree.
It is not to be named. It is not to be named. So Steph, welcome to the Dallas Duo Podcast. We are so thrilled for you to be here today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is such a treat for me. Super fun. All right, Steph, take us back. What inspired you to start Joy Creative Shop? Where did it begin?
For sure. It goes way back, actually, right around when I graduated college and went into the greeting card industry. So kind of wanted to forge my own path. Then fast forward a few years later, married, had a baby, and then thought I wanted like a little creative outlet while I was going to stay home and be a mom. So set up an Etsy shop, couple listings, and it kind of just did its thing for a while without a lot of intentionality behind it.
Was there like a personal story or like aha moment that shaped your mission? Like I see you as a kid, like in Hallmark, just like living for the phrases.
And like maybe having the most amazing collection of stickers.
That's probably so true. If I have to think back, I remember loving decorating, like you would wrap your textbooks and then you would doodle. I was always a doodler and I wasn't the most academic. I wasn't terrible in school, but it wasn't my thing. But I loved handwriting. Yeah, I was like, all my stuff looked cute. It might not have been the best, but it looked good. I would say I definitely have loved paper goods since day one. Like even now, I am a supporter of other brands. Any paper store is like my favorite place. Same with bookstores. So I think it's definitely been like, it's been a thing. It's really fun that now it's my job and the reality every day I get to do.
I love that.
So tell us a little bit about your background in design or business, and how did that shape what Joy Creative has become?
I had no background in either, which is usually what you find out. You know, it's like, well, I didn't go to school for business and I definitely didn't go to school for design. My college journey was very zigzagged. And one of the stops was for a degree in design. I didn't finish it, but I started it. And while we were there, we learned Illustrator and Photoshop. And that's when I kind of like was clued into, oh, I really like this and I want to do more of it. So just started using it as a recreational tool, as a hobby, and would make greeting cards for friends. And then that kind of stair-stepped into taking them into stores, seeing if they had interest in buying them. They said yes. And then it was like, well, okay, I'll go to another store and see if they like it. So that was the initial start. My parents are entrepreneurs, so I've watched it and kind of knew that I just didn't want the 9 to 5, the corporate. I really liked the idea of like working hard and playing hard.
Well, and I think that it's such an incredible story because I think about actually like how many entrepreneurs and self-starters don't finish college or don't finish a degree. And, you know, I grew up with that mindset of like, okay, like check all the boxes, dot all the I's and cross all the T's. And like my mom didn't finish college, but the one floral class that she took, she was like, oh, I'm better than everybody in this room. So like, I'm just going to go off and do my own thing. Right. Like
I'm going to have a business.
You have a ton of passion and you have like so much hustle and grit because of that passion that you believe in that nothing could stop you. Where you see people with degrees in design that actually don't know what they're doing and actually don't have a passion for it. And it's like, you're never going to make it.
Sure. And I think there's so much to be said. I was ready to be done by about sophomore year of college. And my parents were like, just finish, like have the degree. And I'm thankful I did. My friends were at OU, you know, socially, I grew up another 2 years in college. But I do think the tide is turning now where you can take an idea or something you're passionate about and start pursuing it at a younger age. And maybe college isn't the best place for you. You know, you might want to learn by a trade school or a culinary school. And it's hard as parents because we kind of want in the box, but out of the box sometimes works really well too.
Yeah. You mentioned that your parents are entrepreneurial, so you've always had that example, but you also, your family is also very fun and very close knit. And so,
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, like, how has your family and being a mom influenced your brand or like how you approach creativity?
Thankfully, I had parents that when I had an idea of not pursuing what all my friends were doing postgraduate or post college, they supported it. And that was step one, just saying, like, I have this idea. What do you think? And they're like, go for it. You know, and you hear it now in like Gary Vee's conversations that like your 20s should be a playground of like, go figure out what you're good at, what you like. Obviously, you need to make some money, but there's no stresses around you, you know, and you can kind of play while discovering who you are if that didn't happen fully in college. So having support is the first and biggest thing. And then anytime I had a wild hair or idea, they'd be like, let's go. Oh, a show in New York. Okay. So that was super helpful. And then being a mom has defined everything that I am in my work. It's the easiest way to prioritize where my time is spent. It's really helped us grow as a brand product wise because busy moms, busy women trying to look and feel good and get their stuff together. And like we've figured out over time, that's really our sweet spot is tools to help, someone with gifting in a pinch on their way there, all the things we live. We want it to look like we spent an hour wrapping it, but we wrapped it in the car right before we walked in. If I didn't have those experiences, I would not have the perspective to know of how fast the hustle is and that I still have standards of what I want things to look like, but I also know that I need them to be done in an easier, quicker way. Yeah.
I think that that is a big thing that stuck out to me is when you become a mom, like certain things just fall to the wayside. Like there are just certain things that you cannot do. And as somebody
Yes.
whose love language is gift giving,
Yeah.
to show up with a gift that looks bad is like I would just refuse to not gift
Yeah.
because it's like I refuse to let that love language suffer. And so it has been such a beautiful tool that like I have figured out this kind of like formula of Joy Creative of like if I have enough tissue paper and a cute ribbon and these stickers that are personalized to like me and my family, I never look like I don't have my shit together. And I love that.
Totally. That's our tagline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I want to be the mom that even if everything else has fallen apart, like that my gift, because I love gift giving, doesn't look like it's a representation of my fallen apart world.
Having a stock of like tags and G-Wrap bags, like those are my favorite personally, makes such a difference. Like you can always just show up with like something beautiful, makes
For
it
sure.
easy.
So this is what I was going to ask you. So you designed logos for dietitians for a while. And I bring this up because I feel like God just works in mysterious ways. But like, I'm pretty sure the year I met Andrea was the same time that I had been like stalking Casey Bonanno, who you had done a logo for. And it was like at the same time I was being hit with like your information and contact. And I'm always so interested when like two very different circles like pull together the same referral. And you're like, it's like you get like a recommendation for a dentist from like two very different individuals and you're like, they must be really good at what they do.
Yeah.
But where was that in this journey?
That goes back, oh gosh, I think Yvette Quantz. So she is the like, I feel like Telos before it like is no longer, it like was the hub for so many relationships and like businesses and brands that were built in that one building. So my husband would go there for training with Ryan, Andrea's husband. And then I come work out. I just had a baby. Yvette Quantz worked in that facility. And then we met. And then as she went back to Louisiana, she was needing design services for her business. And so I was like, hey, if you need me, I can help design logos if your client needs one or something along those lines. So, and back pre the creative shop, the way I was thinking was if I would say yes to everything until I could say no. That makes sense. So I took every job, I built websites, I did design work, things that were out of my comfort zone because paper wasn't a dominant source of income, or of my time. So Yvette and I worked together for years, and I worked with, I feel like a slew of amazing nutritionists and dietitians in the area and right around the country, and knew you through her, just like, indirectly. And then knowing that you and Drea knew each other, I'm like, this is insane. What is happening?
It's like quite the little like secret niche.
Yeah.
I looked at like all the logos you had done. I looked back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you have done like some big dietitians logos who are like OGs in the field. So just so ironic. But like that piece to me sticks out of the like saying yes to everything. I had an intern ask me like, what's your best business advice? And I'm like, don't niche down too soon. Like say yes so that you can figure out what you don't like, what you don't want to do, where your passion isn't, because you won't know where it isn't until
You
you're
don't
in it.
try it all.
Try it all and then get that firm, like, oh, don't want to do that again. Or I loved that so much. I want to do more of that. And paper was always the goal. It was like, how do I make that my full-time thing? But until that point, I just took on what I could and needed to and met some really cool people along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, your brand is rooted in joy. So like
For
that's
sure.
so obvious, but like how do you define joy and how do you feel like it shows up in your products?
It's a tricky one because a lot of conversation and controversy around happiness and joy being two different things. I feel like joy is an internal, hard for anyone else to bring that to you, if that makes sense. It's something that has to come from within. My faith is a huge part of where that comes from. I just think it's almost like simple pleasures. It's slowing things down, really being able to enjoy what you're doing. Obviously that word, including joy in it, like just enjoy the process. For me, it's a really simple word, but it's the most impactful. Yeah, I love that.
Another thing I think is cool is how that's kind of woven in your family, like with your
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
I don't know if most people know that.
They don't. Yeah, most people call me Joy and they assume that's my first name, and that's totally fine. I'll answer. Yeah, it is my middle name, and it's actually my mom's middle name, and she gave both my sister and I the same middle name from her mom. And then when we all had girls, there are 3 girls between the 2 of us, they all are middle name Joy.
Wow.
Isn't that
It's
cool? I love
It is.
that.
a whole
Yeah.
lot of joy in your family.
A lot of joy. So it's generational. And then as for the products, our goal is that we're not big gestures. We're just little porch drop off gifts, a little happy meal that shows up, and the gift card or the tag, the notepad, whatever it is, spurs that feeling for whoever's receiving it.
I even just think back to like your bag of tags and like the one in there that says like just a little something like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
We're
love
like
that.
praying for you.
Yeah.
You know, just like
Yeah.
very
It's
small.
it is. It's just someone thought of you today. And Whitney, to go back to your point of like, that's the one area that you won't allow to show up. I'd rather drop a gift off late and
Same.
done the way
I've done
I
that. I
want
think
it.
I've lied to Andrea and been like, I forgot it at home.
Same.
We're like,
"Nope,
it's in the car and it looks like shit, so it's not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
exactly. But that has something to do with who you're giving it to and the thought behind the gifting. And it's really, it doesn't have to be deep, but it really can be so much more than like, oh, I got you a birthday gift and I didn't think much about it, or I ordered it from Amazon and I, like just to have something. But how you present it is a reflection of you, but also how you care about the person you're giving it to.
This is such an aside, and I didn't write this down, but one of the biggest kind of like lessons in my marriage with my husband was gift giving. And I grew up in a household that like the way that a gift was presented was everything.
Okay.
And he was the exact opposite. And so, he would like give me a gift in an Amazon box. And I'd be like, do you hate me?
Yeah.
And so we had to talk through, like
Yeah.
Presentation.
Sending someone an Amazon box does not equate to the same level of love and care that wrapping it yourself and it coming to our house first and then taking it matters. Like the idea to him of like shipping something to us and wrapping it and then shipping it again was like, as an engineer, like
Sure. So inefficient. Uh-huh. Yeah.
me, I'm like, this is everything. I'm like, we will never, I remember sitting down and being like, year two in marriage, being like, we will never be the family that just sends an Amazon box. We will never, you know,
Yes.
like there were like these guidelines.
These are our rules. Yes.
Yes. So I was like, this is how we love on people.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And it's one step further. It's a little more inconvenient, but also there's a level to, and I remember it was an influencer that we follow. And she said during Christmas, she would wrap her gifts and she would pray for who she was giving it to. And I love that so much.
On that same note,
Yeah.
we live in such a fast-paced digital world. Why do you think paper goods still matter for connection and for mental wellness even?
So many levels. I think you can go from notepads and organization and brain dump and trying to clear out a busy brain to taking time to sit down and send thank you notes and almost a moment of meditation of like what that person did or that you thought of them. So more than the Emily post of like, got to check the box that I sent my thank you notes, it really should be like a practice of gratitude and time out to think about others. And I find when I'm going 1,000 miles an hour and kind of upside down, the easiest way for me to snap out of it is to do something for someone else. And maybe that is just a note or that gift that's been sitting on my table. I should go wrap it and drop it off. And then I feel better knowing that I made someone happy.
Well, and it's an excuse to get off of your phone.
Yeah.
You know, like whether
1,000%.
it's like journaling or quiet time, like
Yeah.
there's all these things that we do that are like not digital to kind of revive us. And I think that
Yeah.
gratitude is a huge part of that.
Huge part. Yeah. And it's something that you can't, well, they say like you can't have anxiety and gratitude at the same time. And that is such a powerful thought because if you're having a moment of worry, to flip the perspective to being grateful for whatever that challenge may be bringing you, and then knowing that in time you'll be able to reflect back and see the purpose behind what happened and why. You know, most of the time, sometimes it's a lot more deeper and more challenging to do, but in a moment of panic, I feel like you can quickly make it, you know, they say turn the frown upside down type thing.
I try to think about on the receiving end, like how do
Mhm.
I feel when I get a handwritten note? Like I'm super sentimental. I save notes for years and years, you know, and I just think that having that connection and seeing that person's handwriting and just, you know, that there was intentionality and thought behind that. And I just think it makes on the receiving end makes you feel really special. So I try to think about that when I'm writing.
For sure. It's an experience in a way, you know, of like a fun little something that comes in the mail that's wrapped really nicely. It takes them a minute to open it. I always believe that done is better than perfect. So if Amazon is the only way, like go do it. But if there's the chance and if the circumstance allows to like go a step further, I mean, I'm telling you, my car is like a gift wrap station.
Yeah, shout out
know.
for the car kit.
Also, the car kit.
Obviously, we have our favorite products,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
to know what are, you know, your favorites or even some customer favorites that you see that you're like, these will always be on in the shop.
Absolutely. So we just had our 15th birthday anniversary, which is so fun, and kind of brought to life a few products that had been big sellers back in the day. And then we kind of gave them new life in our way now. One is a brain dump notepad. And I think it's something that like every woman should have because our brain is divided. I know many tabs are open all the time. And so to know not just a laundry list of tasks, but like in what category that falls is key. So I'm really glad that came back. Car kit is probably my number one. I live and dream by that and the bag of tags. Yeah, I feel like those are just almost tools, like essentials that if you had them, you wouldn't get caught in that sticky situation. And I feel like that and the G-Wrap bags were created when I hit that moment of like, well, I have tissue. I don't have the gift bag. You're like, well, oh shit, what am I going to do?
Yeah. I think that
So
really
I think-
speaks to knowing your ideal customer too.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I think I saw that and I was like, this is the most genius thing I've ever seen in my life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's such a simple thing. And we didn't know that early on. we were a stationery brand. And how do you stand out on Etsy or on the internet when everyone can make a notepad or stationery? So as these products that are now proprietary to us have come up, they gave great clarity into who we're serving. And that's now our North Star of what we dial back into anytime we're designing or creating.
What about design inspiration? Like, where do you pull from? Like, where do you feel most inspired?
Honestly, I feel like if there's like, people say, oh, my superpower is opportunity and having my eyes kind of open almost all the time. It's tiring and it's like an overwhelm of so much consumption of information and things. But then when I need something to be inspired by, it's like I've almost seen it somewhere along the way. I'm not looking forward to be inspired on this specific day so that I can create X. I kind of just keep my eyes open and looking. I love magazines. I mean, I love Better Homes and Gardens and Real Simple and some of the like OG magazines that have great design elements. Bookstores, definitely. You've got just all sorts of colors and the covers are so beautiful. And I love abstract art and artists. So I follow a lot of that, mainly for color and just kind of each year kind of build my little mini art gallery in my home.
Love how you've brought that love of abstract art into your designs too and done some
Yeah.
fun collaborations.
Yes.
I bought the set of cards that you
Yeah,
did with those
Katie
bright.
Craig.
Yes, that was so
Yeah.
good and just so unique.
The way we decide on collabs is the majority are ones that make sense. And then there's like room for 10% of like a passion, if you will. And it's like Katie Craig was that for me. She's an amazing person. She's local to Dallas, a busy mom, and her art spoke to me, but I also thought would translate really well on paper so that if you were a fan of hers, you were able to get a mini investment with a box note, set of cards, a notepad that had her art, and it wasn't the $1,000 to buy her, her prints and her art. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. So, if we look a little bit at like just entrepreneurship in general, as a founder, wife, and
Mhm.
mom, what does work life balance look like for
Yeah.
you?
Oh, there is none. I mean, and I'm so glad I finally realized that because it ebbs and flows and shifts. Like, I feel like the teeter totter every day looks very different. And if I was rigid in what I needed it to be day to day, I would suffer greatly. I probably would have quit this so I could be a stay at home mom. But my kids kind of think I'm a stay at home mom, but yet I run a business. So I'm like, I'm doing a really good job of fooling everyone. Caveat to that is all short on probably taking care of myself times because you're trying to balance the two most important things. But I will say to credit to both of y'all have helped me so much on the nutrition, wellness, mental of like you need help or you need tools. I keep thinking I'm like I should advertise for Factor meals. They have changed my life.
Yes.
They have changed my life.
Let them know they can
Yeah,
sponsor
I
this
know.
episode.
I think as a mom, sometimes it's like you have to give yourself that extra grace of like, oh, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah,
like
it
I
is.
think for
And it's
all
the
of us,
hardest
that's
thing.
something.
What I was going to say is like, you say you have no work life balance, but like you have a team, right? I think some people interview some entrepreneurs that are just solo entrepreneurs
Yeah.
and you have a team,
We do.
but your business has also grown exponentially. But I'm assuming that having a team has made a huge difference.
There would be no Joy Creative Shop. Yeah. We got to a point where I think Mallory joined me 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago. And it was like order processing help. And then as an entrepreneur, work was my escape. It was like my happy place. And so I was like, I can do this all by myself. I don't need other people. And then when I realized the power of two people working collectively for the same goal, I was like, there's something there. And it gave me a minute to breathe while she was still doing her work. And then just over the years, with a lot of great guidance and partners, like we have a team of 8, which is amazing. And we're in a really big pivot season where we have some great opportunities for some of these team members to go out and do other new things within, their role. And it's really exciting. And they're amazing people. So to get to work with them every day, it's kind of like one of those things you don't know what you need, but I can't imagine doing this by myself anymore. The purpose would be like a shallow desire.
There has to be room for you to have like creativity. Like I think when you say, like you're
That
constantly
downtime.
like you're in sponge mode, like you're taking everything in. Like when you're responding to like customer service emails,
You're right.
it doesn't give you the time and the
doesn't.
margin to grow a business.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's been the hardest thing is as we've evolved and I've had to take on the role of like CEO. I'm like, what is that? I am not a CEO. I'm like, I consider myself a lowercase CEO. I'm like, not the executive level, but like a little lowercase one. Yeah, the little C. But what does that look like for me? Now that we have a team and they do the tasks that filled my days and hours, what is my purpose in Joy Creative Shop? And sometimes it's still order processing and customer fulfillment. I mean, it just depends on the day. But then at times it's having days of total margin to dream and plan and strategize and all of that. Keep trying to figure out how can I serve my team and then how are we serving our customers and where does my time need to be like best well spent.
As you've grown the team, which is so
Mhm.
exciting that you guys are up to 8 now,
Yeah.
what do you think are the defining values that remain at the core of your business as you've grown?
Yeah. I said this years ago before I really understood what it meant, and it's a true purpose now, but I always thought we were a customer service brand who sold paper because we can take care of our customers and love on them through our customer service and the experience of shopping with us and communicating with our team. But when you pare that down even more, like to serve others, all the ego is removed from me not wanting to get on social media because of vanity reasons. But I'm like, if I'm helping someone, I will do it without thinking. So at the core, our team is created to each other, their self, their life, their family, and then our customers. There's kind of that makes it a bigger deal than we sell products.
And that's what keeps people coming back too.
Yeah, hopefully. We know as we grow, we can't make everyone happy. And as a people pleaser, that is a very challenging thing to happen. But we know that, like, for the most part, we make a lot of people really happy. And when our products show up on their porch, it adds a little joy to their day. And yeah, that's what keeps us going.
I love that.
Love that. What rituals or habits keep you grounded in both business and in wellness? I know you touched a little bit on that previously, but what's your favorite way to recharge creatively?
Say I'm probably out of balance right now in life with 3 kids, 2 teenagers, and then a 9-year-old, and no one can drive. And we're like, we have hit that wall, and we need a 15-year-old to turn into a 16-year-old. So yeah, there's not as much downtime and balance in the taking care of, but I love to read for enjoyment and for work to learn. I love learning. And as our kids are getting older, I really do enjoy spending one-on-one time with them as just a source of like, it's not parenting anymore. And Whitney, I pray for you daily. I saw your post the other day about like, I fully understood what you were feeling. I was like, I was a calm, normal person before I had children. And I am an irrational maniac.
Toddler. I'm
Thanks
also
to
a
you.
toddler.
I'm a toddler. Yep, at times.
My inner toddler is released, and I'm like, it's like revisiting your inner child that I never wanted to meet.
For sure. Yeah. You're like, I put that to sleep. That was a long time ago. I will say therapy helps. That has been a massive tool. I started when Marley was 3 and was the person that went and was like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't need this. I am capable. And after that first session, I was like, I will be back forever and ever. And that is another piece of self-care that has really helped me as I've grown, as our families changed, all the things. My work life doesn't look like it did when I first started. And so there's an evolution that some days I ignore, but it's getting harder to. And so just having the mindset and the tools and then the help, needing help by so many people, you just have to kind of realize that that's essential for you to grow.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you said that because I think sometimes when we say, rituals or habits, we think like, oh, a spa day or a manicure or a massage.
I love
But
that too.
I mean, those are all fantastic.
Yeah.
things, But I'm really glad you brought up therapy because that in itself can be a way to take care of yourself and
1,000%.
and all of that. Like I'm a big believer. So I'm really glad that you said that. I think
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
been
great
a
answer.
really amazing tool. And every time I'd hit a wall, mainly parenting, I would go and dump out all the thoughts of like what was happening. She would listen and then kind of give me a few tools to walk away with. And I always felt more empowered, better, better parent, a better mom. And as business has grown too, I've come with some frustrations and thoughts. And it's kind of like my personal thing. It involves no one else. Yeah.
It's always nice
been
to have
awesome.
someone else help you process some of those
Yeah.
things. It just,
A
you need to get
And
it
a
out there.
and a professional.
Yeah.
Like we always talk about this. I'm like, I love my, partner. You are not an expert at
No.
marriage or parenting
No.
or business
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like I love the support, but it's coming from like a just as novice place as
Sure.
my own.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, thank you for the effort, but I'm gonna go talk to a professional now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you feel like you're equipped to handle a situation just a little bit better. And you haven't looped someone else in, I don't know, share the load, if you will. That doesn't need to be.
So if we talk a little bit more about regional kind of like specifics, you're in the Dallas community and
Yes.
it's supported your growth. And like,
Yeah.
what do you love most about being Dallas based business?
Yeah. I'm so proud to be like born and raised here. And then Joy Creative Shop is based here. It makes me so happy when I meet someone. I'm not totally forward facing. So most people don't know who Joy Creative Shop is, the person. So when I meet someone and they're like, you look familiar, I'm like, oh God, panic, pure panic sets in. Yeah. And they're like, do you own Joy Creative Shop? And that they know who Joy Creative Shop is. Like there is no bigger honor. And so you hear it from schools asking for donations or involvement in some of the local charities that we get to partner with. Like the Birthday Party Project is a perfect one of having a collab with them. We love to keep that in our home base in Dallas, and so we couldn't be more thankful because Dallas has been our biggest support from day one, really.
Well, and for people who are in Dallas, like this is actually a huge entrepreneurial hub and a
Yeah.
huge female entrepreneurial hub.
Yes, which is so exciting. I've just gotten to, I think because of time allowing, gotten to go to some founder dinners and things where I walked in and I was instantly like, what am I doing here? All the insecurities creep in and you're like, yeah. And they're like, who's had an exit? Who's sold a business? And I was like, well, we're just growing. But I have to remember too, for people that are just starting out, like we're where they dream to be. We have surpassed where I ever
You are
thought.
someone's destination.
Yeah. And I never even thought we would get here. A team of 8, could make me cry. So yeah, I have to keep that perspective of like, yes, would I love to be that founder that has a $10 million business, but where we are is a dream. Yeah.
Are there any favorite local spots that carry Joy Creative or recent collaborations you've done that listeners need to know about?
Yeah. You have some stores in Dallas. I know Madre on Lover's Lane always has some of our things. Some of the kids' stores carries like Toys Unique or even have some of our thank you notes, which I love. And then Birthday Party Project has been great because it's local. So to support their mission and the kids that they take care of with, a revenue share of what sells, a portion goes back to them has been really cool. But we have big goals for a bigger wholesale effort to have our product in more stores so that based on location, customers know they can go out and grab something last minute if needed throughout the country. we're working on it.
Yeah. And I love that you're fully online. Like anything
Yeah.
you need, you can get online. All right. Well, we like to do a fun rapid fire so that,
Awesome.
our listeners can get to know you a little bit better.
Of course.
This is the joy edit.
The joy edit.
Okay. Love it. Love that.
All right. Go to coffee order and favorite Dallas coffee spot.
Okay, so right now, I know Dre and I have one on our list for next week, maybe, but my favorite spot is Merit Coffee, and they have a really great London fog, and you add a little bit of lavender to it. So it's a little sweet, but at my core, am a tea person, not a coffee person, although I feel like I jump back and forth, but tea is like probably my favorite thing. So that's my favorite right now.
That sounds awesome.
What about a favorite pen or paper product?
Gosh, I know. Sticky notes. Like they're my favorite. I think this was a sample, but I have like little ones all over my computer. I keep them on there like right and left of our little keyboard. And there are things that I can't forget. So I was so proud when we launched some earlier this year, which is so fun.
Wellness, routine, or service you're loving?
That's a great question. I got a gift card to Sessions for my birthday for Pilates classes, which I've loved. I've been to a few studios around Dallas, and one just opened right by us. And Marley and I went to our first class like a week or two ago together. Yeah, it was something to share that's like active and out of the house and not shopping. So it was fun. We'll do it again for sure.
Also, like another female owned kind of like joyful brand.
Loved it. I could just stay inside the music, the wallpaper, everything about what they do is there. I love it. Yeah.
So if you're not on their email list, I highly suggest their emails are just like their messaging and everything is so fun. And their
so
emails
good.
are really underrated. Like I just love reading them just because they're so like quirky and cute and fun. It just sticks out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For sure. All right. Next trip you're looking forward to?
Boy, this is the big one. We actually leave. This is not like our common summer travel. We leave next Thursday for Africa.
That's going to be so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It kind of came to be, my parents had a trip planned and then COVID happened. So they had to scrap that. And then my dad had some health scares and issues last summer. And I think they kind of sat and thought like, this is one of those YOLO moments that they're like, why would we not just go with everyone? I'm like, well, I know why. But hey, you do you, and we'll happily accept the invitation.
That's going to be incredible, though. The memories, like,
holy cow.
all the kids are old enough to remember. Like,
they are.
It's going to be
like
awesome.
Joy Creative Shop, like the safari.
The safari.
Does this mean we're having leopard print? Like, so
Maybe. I know. So we leave. It's a 10-day trip. Our kids haven't been out of the country, and this is their first venture out. So we are so, so excited. Yeah, it'll be a memory that will probably not be duplicated.
I can't wait to hear about it.
I know.
incredible.
A quote or phrase that's on repeat for you right now?
It's always done is better than perfect. I mean, because some things you're like, we just got to wrap it up. Otherwise it'll never get finished. And perfect is such a personal, what is perfect? Yeah. And I know the first version of anything won't be the best version. So we just want to put it out into the world and then iterate on it based on how it felt, what feedback we got. And and same with parenting. You're like, I just got to make dinner. Not going to overthink it.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, what about a dream collaboration? Brand, person?
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm going to say it out loud because I sent one of those shoot your shot emails last week. Blair Edie is a influencer. She is like very bright, bold, colorful, very high design fashion. And her blog is called I think Atlantic Pacific. She's done some amazing collabs. And so I sent an email. I was like, hey, she knows who we are, which is good news.
Well, you've been on Oprah.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
that doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think she would be one. And then anything Reese Witherspoon does for her female empowerment, for her work and reading. and her whole brand that supports founders. Like, I think one day would be such an amazing opportunity to collab with them and their message. Yeah, so I'm a big manifester and creating that dream list and also just sending the note. Like, what's the worst they can say? No. Yeah, it's fine. I respect that, but they may say yes. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Currently reading your favorite book.
Currently reading, oh, I think it's called A Love Story. I'd have to look at the author. She's one of my favorite, but I just read my second favorite author is Carly Fortune, and I think it was One Golden Summer. It's a really good little beach read.
Where can listeners shop your designs, follow you online, or connect for a custom project?
Okay. Joycreativeshop.com. And then we're Joy Creative Shop on all platforms for social. So Instagram, TikTok, all the things. I would say Instagram's our main hub for social and DMs and connections. And then just sending an email if you had an idea for something custom. We love to accommodate when we can, for sure.
We'll
Yeah.
wrap up, but thank you. We could talk all day. We really could.
This is like my favorite.
But thank you so much for joining us and, not just for being with us today, but for the heart and intentionality you bring to everything you create. It's been so great to chat with you today.
Thank you. And thank you both so much. Y'all have been such supporters and lovers of the brand and show up for me whenever needed. And that means so much. Everyone's lives are so busy. Y'all both make an effort to be there. And I've always appreciated that so much.